What's up, Attack MMA? I'm your host, Zach Weicker, and today we got a very special guest. He's a professional fighter with a 6-2 record. He'll be fighting at UFC Fight Night on August 2nd. Please welcome Nick Klein. Nick, thanks for coming on.
Good to be here, man.
Of course. And before we get into the fight, something I always find fascinating is I'm always curious on each fighter's origin story. So, how and when did you get into the sport of MMA?
Well, I watched it for a number of years and wrestled in high school and kind of just wanted something to, I guess, fill the hunger for competitiveness in sports. And I think MMA was kind of just a good outlet for that, and it helps keep me in shape among a bunch of other positive things too. So.
Of course, and now from that, this will be your second fight with the UFC. So, after making your debut earlier this year, how excited are you to make the walk once again?
Super excited, man. I really kind of want to make up for my last performance, and I think this is a good matchup, and everything just seems to be falling into place just right for this camp and this fight.
Yeah, and you mentioned that matchup, and then your opponent will be Andrey Pulyaev. So, what do you know about your opponent, and what's your thoughts about his fighting style and his strengths?
I know he's a tall, lanky Russian guy who likes to counter strike. He's got good takedown defense. And I'm sure there's tons of stuff that we haven't seen that he's good at too, and so you kind of just got to be ready for everything. But yeah, I mean, he seems like a solid fighter. I think everybody in the UFC is talented, and he's going to present his own challenges. I think his height is one of those things. Um, but we'll see if I can solve that puzzle.
And you mentioned a bunch of his strengths there, and of course, you have your own strengths. So, where in this fight do you believe you will stand out?
Boy, I don't know, man. I guess we'll have to see when it's time to fight, I certainly have a list of things that I'm good at, things that I'm strong at, and we'll just see how well I can apply that to him.
Yeah, and I know in the past you've talked about you're not the type of guy who likes to sit back and watch a lot of tape on your opponents, and instead, during your training camp, you kind of just like to focus on what you're good at. So, how important is that for you to focus on your strengths instead of focusing what your opponent might do in the fight?
Yeah, that's really all I've put my mind to. When we first got the fight offer, my striking coach sat down and he's like, "Listen, we're gonna watch 8 minutes of film on this guy," and he picked out 8 minutes out of his last two fights, and we watched those 8 minutes, and uh, he just had kind of highlighted certain things we're going to work on, pointed out a couple things, and that's literally all I've seen of my opponent. Was 8 minutes worth of film from his Contender Series fight and his UFC debut. My coach was just picking out things that we think can make work for us. So.
And in the past, did you ever watch a fight on your opponent? And if so, when you did in the past, what changes do you see now from not watching fight to when you did in the past?
I don't. I still don't. I've never really watched much film. It hasn't really changed a whole lot for me personally. um, but my coach kind of wanted me to sit down and watch a few minutes on this guy just to understand why he was going to have me do certain maneuvers certain ways, just to understand why he was going to kind of run me through some of the structured things that he had planned. So he wanted me to see that kind of firsthand out of my opponent. So that was the point of kind of sitting down watching a little bit of film on this guy. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered.
Yeah, for sure, man. And with all those factors into consideration, stylistically, how are you looking at this fight?
Um, I mean, he's got length and he's got height. He's got good counter striking. Um, I think, like I said, there's definitely things that he's good at that he's going to try and capitalize on, and I'm just going to use the tools that I can in my toolbox to kind of negate that and start to sway the fight my way.
Yeah, and now this fight will be taking place in the Apex, and the last time you fought in the Apex was your biggest fight to date, where you earned yourself that UFC contract on the Dana White Contender Series. So, does the Apex hold a special place in your heart at all?
Not particularly. Obviously, the Contender Series experience there was super cool. I think the biggest thing for me fighting in the Apex is just Kind of feels more like a sparring session. I think I'm a little bit more comfortable in there. When I fought in Seattle, it was just a lot of people. It was a lot to take in when I was kind of walking out, and I think that might have kind of pulled from my ability to perform as well. Just kind of being taken back. I guess maybe starstruck by like the platform, I guess is kind of how I would put it. There was just so many people in there, and I'm seeing my name and my face and stuff up on a jumbotron in this big arena, and it was just a lot to take in, lot to focus on. And in the Apex, all of that is just like super simplified. There's not that much people in there. It's not that loud. I feel like there's not really that many eyes on me. So I'll kind of be looking forward to going back there and just being able to focus on the fight.
Yeah, and you mentioned your debut there in Seattle with the whole crowd, with all the people in the arena. But what do you recall from your debut and that whole week leading up to the fight?
I think the entire UFC experience is something I'm super privileged to have just been a part of. The UFC really does do their best to um, just kind of fill all the needs of the fighters, from getting you to and from places that you got to go, giving you PT, giving you food. There's always staff and stuff kind of checking in with you and your team, making sure you're okay. Everything is set to happen at a certain place at a certain time. I really enjoy the structure of the UFC and just how well organized everything is. Um, the whole fight week was awesome. I mean, even the fight night experience was super cool. Obviously, it sucks that I didn't get the win. Um, but still just having gone through that entire experience and just kind of being a part of a show at that level is something I'm super grateful for. And I think I think I'm just better suited this time around. Like I know what to expect. And so there won't really be much element of surprise, I guess, apart from whatever my opponent's got hidden away for me.
And of course, that was your debut. And even though you did not get the victory in that fight, how much did it mean to you to be a UFC fighter?
I mean, it means everything. That's everything everyone's working for. You can talk about, PFL and one and that's the UFC. It doesn't get any more successful than there. So, um, making it there is everything. That's every mixed martial artist's goal. Like and I'm not saying anything against PFL or like Bellator when they were around or won, but it's like no one comes out and is like, oh, I just want to be like the PFL champ, or I just want to be like the Bellator champ. It's like, yeah, those guys are like super decorated and renowned, but like everybody knows the UFC has the best fighters. So if you can win there, you belong amongst the best. So it's kind of how I thought about it.
Definitely. And back to your debut fight. Obviously, you didn't take the victory as you mentioned, but even in losses, there's always something you can learn from it. So, what lessons did you learn from that first fight that you'll implement into this upcoming fight?
Really just being able to apply the whole experience from like the first UFC fight week to this one. There isn't really like a fear of the unknown or like I know everything that's going to transpire from the time that they fly me out Tuesday to Saturday night when I get in the cage, right? The only thing I'm not 100% sure on is how the fight's going to go, right? How it's take place. Um, so it's really cool to just kind of know everything that's going to be expected this coming fight, or the for the fight week coming up. Even the cage and the setting that I'm fighting in is a place that I've been before, so I find a lot of comfort in just the familiarity that I'm going to have.
Yeah, and another difference from that first fight to this fight is in the first fight, you only had a little under a month to prepare. This time around, you've had a full training camp. So, what has that been like?
It's been awesome, man. I can arguably say right now that I'm probably in the best shape of my life, and you know it's it's super cool and reassuring just knowing that I was going to have more than enough time to prepare. Short notice is obviously short notice. Too much time is too much time. 8 weeks is almost too much time. But I made good use of it. And the cool part is that it was kind of a summer training camp, and that's my favorite time to train. I can get up in the morning and go outside and jump on my pull up bar, or get up in the morning, go outside and go for a run. It's just nice to get up to warm weather and sunlight every day. And I think that really just helps project like a healthy fight camp and just a good mindset.
Yeah, and you do a lot of that training at Pura Vida. So, how would you describe your experience there, and what are your relationships like with your training partners and coaches?
It's like it's kind of like one big family to me, man. My three main coaches, Jake, Zach, and Solo, are they've been with me from the very beginning, ever since my second amateur fight. I've made the walk with them a lot now, and I fully trust in their knowledge and their abilities as coaches. And as far as the way they run the gym and all of my training partners at the gym, they give everybody that same treatment. If you trust and invest in them, they're going to do the same for you, and obviously try to help you along and get as far as you can in the fight game. um, we all are there for each other at the end of the day too. Even if I don't have a fight booked, I'm still in the gym helping my teammates and stuff, get ready for their fights just on the regional scale still. So we're always working hard together and for each other. So super grateful to be a part of that gym.
Yeah, and you see a lot of fighters transfer to these big gyms and move to these big gyms like Florida, Vegas, California. But how special is it for you that you can train close to home and not be far away from your family?
Yeah, that's a huge benefit as well. I got three kids and a girl, so it's um super nice to be. The gym is my so I train in Milwaukee, right? But I actually live like 45 minutes north of there. So it is a bit of a drive, but still being able to see my family every day, while training and being in camp is obviously a huge benefit. I hear about a lot of fighters gone for their entire camp, gone for 6, 8 weeks or whatever. Um, first off, I'm not fighting that level of fight yet, and I don't have the financial means to support a fight camp like that. So I'm not saying that isn't in my distant future. um, but obviously, even if those days were to come along, and I'm going to go out to Vegas or down to Florida or somewhere just for a few weeks, um, I'm going to have to finesse a way to bring my family with too, because I'm not just going to stay holed up in a hotel room by myself for 8 weeks. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, it means a lot to be able to have a good gym and a good facility and a good program that gives you everything you need to compete at a high level and still have your family right there with you too.
Yeah, and you're obviously a big family man. So when you're not training and you're not in the gym, what are some things you like to do in your free time when you have that extra time?
Oh shoot, man. I mean, we're in July right now, so the garden's popping. Like me and my family and my kids, we like to hang out in the garden. We like to take like family longboard rides. Oh boy, we do some kayaking and stuff together. We go on hikes. Really just I really just like getting my kids outside, outdoors. Just kind of running around and burning off energy, man. That was the way I grew up, was running around outside in shorts with my shirt off. So until the sun was setting.
Yeah,
So
and you're obviously a man of nature. So how important is that for you to be outside and to use nature as a way to let your mind free?
I think it's huge, man. That's part of the reason I really like having a fight camp in summer is just being able to kind of do a lot of that training and adventurism, just outside. In winter I get a little bit cooped up. The only place that's warm is indoors, and like I said, I like being out in the woods or out on the river, and kind of just enjoying that sunlight and warm weather. So it means a ton to be able to train when it's hot and spend time with the family outside when it's warm.
That's amazing. And my final question for you is, what are some short-term and long-term goals you have for yourself, both inside and outside the cage?
Boy, short-term and long-term goals inside and outside the cage. Boy, I would say short-term goals inside the cage are to at least get a win in the UFC, right? I mean, right now I'm 0-1 on the roster, and that's not very impressive. So let's go get a win short-term in the UFC. Um, Long-term in the UFC, let's make enough money to, pay the house off, maybe buy a couple duplexes and stuff. Um, set myself up financially. Short term outside the cage, man, I just want to keep spending time with my family and making improvements on the house and the life that we have here. And long term, I'd like to do that same thing.
I love it, Nick. Is there anything you want to shout out? Anything you want to plug before you head out of here?
No, man, I guess just to any of my teammates who see this, I just want to thank them for helping camp and just say how proud I am to train out of the gym that I train out of and have the opportunities I've had, and super thankful for everyone who's helped me along the way.
Nick, it was more than a pleasure speaking with you. I wish you the best of luck in this upcoming fight. Folks, that's all for today. Until next time, peace.